We could never do what they do. But what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
Wanted to start with that reminder today of the folks that we're keeping connected out there, from the front lines and first responders to our consumers to even today, NFL fans. Finally, some sports that we can talk about. The NFL draft tonight, and Verizon and Yahoo Sports part of that. So going to be talking about a lot of that today. Got some special guests with us that we'll get to in a minute. Krista Bourne from our wireless retail channel, our consumer channel. Loza from Yahoo Sports, and a special guest, Roz Peoples, who is one of our government sales team members out in Detroit, Michigan. She'll be joining us with her son, draft hopeful Donovan Peoples-Jones, DPJ, as he's known for all those Wolverine fans out there. So can't wait to talk about that. But first, before we get to that, I want to share a story with you. The USS Roosevelt aircraft carrier has been in the news a lot. One of our very own V-teamers has a daughter who is a sailor aboard that ship. Folks are saying, hey, we would love to have some interaction, some letters from folks. Well, Todd Neff and his family came through for that. Have a look.
My name is Todd Neff. I am a BAM for Verizon Wireless on the Central Coast in Santa Cruz, California. My daughter Naomi is my third daughter. She is 27 years old, and she is a Master of Arms in the Navy on the USS Theodore Roosevelt, currently stationed in Guam for quarantine because of coronavirus. She was one of the first ones quarantined. And one day when I was asking her, she had received, our package. She started telling me about how some of the sailors, when mail call happens, that they don't get anything. So I was talking to her and I said, do you think that we could just write a couple extra letters for you to give to somebody else on the ship that's not getting any mail at all? And she said that would be great. And so far in the first weekend, we got 65 letters written from friends and family. In addition to all the letters that we've been writing, my wife has been sewing masks for the sailors. We're at about 85 masks now, and we just received a bunch of material and elastic to make more. The support that I've been getting is overwhelming. There are so many people that are saying that they'll get involved and write a letter or two. They'll get their kids to write some letters for us to send those off. And, for the future, just getting as many people as possible to just write something and say thank you to these people that are serving us.
Todd, thanks so much for sharing that story with us, and appreciate all you're doing. And I can tell you, Todd, from the beginning of everything that started happening on the Roosevelt, was emailing and sharing updates about his daughter. So good to see that she's doing well out there. But that's not all we're doing for the military. We're also announced earlier today, that we're helping the USO. We're helping them stream some of their live events for service people around the world. That's through Verizon Media. We've also made an additional donation to the USO's combat COVID-19 efforts. And not only that, internationally, we're helping folks as well. Another $2.5 million going to some international organizations to help in their time of need. Yesterday, we also extended data services for our customers, automatically adding an additional 15 gigabytes of 4G LTE data to consumer and small business plans through the end of May. So doing a lot there. And part of the story, though, are folks who are working in retail. Some of them have been redeployed into other positions. Some are in stores. So I want to bring in Krista Bourne now for a little bit more about what's happening out there with her team and to give us some updates. Krista, good afternoon. How are you?
I am great. Thank you, Jeremy. And thank you for having me on this edition of Up to Speed. I'm really excited to share some of what we've done. As many of you know, we've been working over the last several weeks on tons of things to change the way that we do business, to make sure that we prioritize the safety of our employees and our customers while still being able to serve the needs of our community. That has included things like closing as much as 70% of our fleet. We've reduced our hours of operation. We require all customers to wear a face cloth before entering our store, and we are serving customers that schedule appointments for critical needs or has an in-store pickup order that they need to pick up at our store. And then, of course, we continue to look at other ways we can enhance the experience so that when customers are coming in and our employees are in our locations, they feel good about the experience that they can provide and that they can receive. One of those things is what we're calling touchless retail. And touchless retail is an effort that spans across almost every group at Verizon: GTS, marketing, sales op, finance, you name it. There have been a number of people that have been involved in helping us develop a program based on tools we already had, and then things we had on the roadmap that we were able to pull forward. Because one of the things that are very, very important to us as a company is to be agile and to be able to adjust when we need to. And that's exactly what we did. So we started with how people access our store. I mentioned that earlier. They can do that with an appointment, or they could do it with in-store pickup. The second is the physical elements that customers will see when they come to one of our stores. That includes space decals on the floor so customers know where to stand, less furniture in our store so that we're adhering to proper social distancing, plastic partitions in some of our locations, at the demo stations and the collaboration tables, sanitizing stations in high traffic areas, and then of course our employees are provided with the appropriate protective equipment to make sure that they're safe. The other piece that they will experience is the digital tools. And these are both in-store and at home. So the digital tools include things like checking in using your My Verizon app, using smart links, co-browsing capabilities, tap to pay, so that we can finish an entire experience from start to finish without actually having to touch each other. Then when you're at home, that is where things like Smart Setup come into play. And Smart Setup has been here for quite some time, and our teams are very familiar with that, but it certainly serves a completely better new value set for our customers right now when you think about what Smart Setup does. And then there's Tech Coach, another way to have troubleshooting and have other kinds of support that you might need when you're outside of the store, met from the comfort and safety of your own home. And those are just some of the things that we would say are part of the touchless experience. And again, it wasn't just about, doing things differently. It's about making sure we do our part to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And I just want to say thank you again to all the teams that have been involved. And I want to show you a video right now so you can see exactly what that experience looks like right now.
As the situation with COVID-19 changes, we're changing the way we do business as well. Digital innovation is another way we're keeping our employees and our customers safe. A customer can book an appointment through our website. Before customers visit our store, they'll be informed about our new safety measures. We're all wearing face masks and gloves. There are social distancing markers outside of the store. At the store, we're minimizing time and interaction between our employees and our customers. Mobile check-in is now available through our My Verizon app. Social distancing is key to keeping everybody safe. We've moved our store furniture to align with social distancing guidelines. And we have reduced inventory on the floor. We're introducing touchless product discovery, which lets the customer scan and pay for the item all by themselves. We have hand sanitizing stations around the store, and we have installed safety partitions on our collaboration tables. We also have a touchless payment process. This is really a seamless experience for our customers. Feedback has been phenomenal from my staff. Our employees are excited to be at work serving the community. By creating a touchless experience, we're keeping our employees and our customers safe.
Excellent. I just love that so much because it does really demonstrate exactly what we're trying to get done with touchless retail. And as the video said, there is more to come. So when you think about where we're going next with touchless retail, it's things like this week we'll launch Verizon Pass, which will allow customers to verify their identity and pick up an in-store order that they started online. There will be other things that we bring to market like co-browsing, which you heard earlier, which is a way for people to co-pay, but it's also a co-browse. It's also a way for us to make sure that we can help troubleshoot and provide them with links that would be valuable to them. And then lastly, I want to just share that we're thinking about how people use cash in this environment. And so what we are introducing this week is the ability for customers to use a QR code and be able to make a cash payment at our bill payment kiosk machine. So at the end of the day, it's important that we know we continue to evolve, learn, and grow. But more importantly, we do it with our customers and our employees in mind so that everyone is safe and everyone is being serviced to the standards that they have come to expect from a company like Verizon.
Yeah, Krista, thanks for all those updates. And it's as we're continuing to go through this, finding the new ways to work, and I think that's rooted a lot of people in finding solutions along the way. A couple of quick follow-up questions for you before we get on with the show here. Do you see this continuing even as we move back to business as usual?
I do. I actually think that the beauty of what we're doing, as I said earlier, we've learned a lot, but we also went back to our own toolkit. We have capabilities we already had and other things that we were planning to do anyways. We've just pulled those things forward, and we'll continue to look for other things that can become part of our new norm based on what we know our customers are looking for and what we're learning as we go through this experience together.
Good, good. One quick other thing. Talk us through what access and how folks who are continuing to serve as first responders and teachers and all that, how are we working through access for them in the stores if they need assistance like that?
So because we want to make sure we are showing up for those who serve our community, and we do this all the time. Again, this is part of who we are. It's in our DNA. But right now, there's a special opportunity that we can lean into. So as I said earlier, we're only allowing for essential transactions and visits to our stores, and that is through an appointment or through in-store pickup. But for our military, our first responders, healthcare workers, teachers, they can stop by and get much needed equipment and services without an appointment and without an in-store pickup. They just simply need to show ID, comply with the face covering that we require, and they can come in. And we know that they need that kind of convenience. They're on the front line working long hours, many days back to back, and we want to make sure we make it easier for them to get access to the equipment that they might need from Verizon.
Krista, thanks so much. We'll be back with you shortly with some other thoughts and questions for you. So I appreciate that. Now we're switching gears. I guess that'd be appropriate if we were talking auto car racing or NASCAR racing, but we're talking football tonight. NFL draft is back tonight. Of course, Verizon and Yahoo Sports are helping along the way. I want to bring in Liz Loza from the Yahoo Sports team, and then we'll introduce some folks out of Detroit, Roz Peoples and her son, Donovan. Liz, what are you looking forward to tonight with the draft? What's sticking out to you right now?
I mean, I have to admit that this is always one of my favorite NFL tentpole events of the entire year. Sure, the first game of the season is incredible, but what a time of hopefulness to see all of these young men step forward in their destinies, watching their dreams come true, watching their families, as we're going to talk to, support them, and all of I even get emotional. I'm like goose chem, thinking about it, all of the practices, all of the sacrifices. It's for this moment. And frankly, given the circumstances that we're all living under and adjusting through, what a better moment of completion and hope for right now. So I'm really excited. The Yahoo Sports is having a live draft show for tonight, which is the first round. It'll begin at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can watch that on the app, or you can go to sports.yahoo.com/NFL/draft. But we all know we like to watch things on apps, right? So you can go ahead and watch that, and that's going to be an incredible show. And then also be sure to follow Yahoo Sports on Twitter and Instagram at Yahoo Sports on both of those platforms for rapid reactions, clips from the shows, any fantasy relevant players, because obviously Yahoo Fantasy is such a big part of the NFL now. So you can follow along, but I think the human part of this, especially again right now in the midst of this COVID situation, is one of the most uplifting, even for people who aren't diehard football fans.
Yeah, it's a little return to what we all know and love. Sports gets us through so much, and it's my pleasure now to bring in two special guests from Detroit, Michigan. Roz Peoples, who is a part of our government sales team, and her son, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He had a great time at Michigan, standout wide receiver there. And boy, you talk about a journey and a path to the NFL. Roz, Donovan, good afternoon. How are you guys feeling today? What's going through your brains right now?
Hi, we're great. Just excited, thankful, waiting on the day.
Yeah, yeah. Donovan, what about for you?
Yeah, same. I'm just waiting.
Yeah, good. Liz, what you talked a bit about the journey there. What do you think folks like Roz and Donovan could anchor into right now to kind of keep the stress level down and get through the day?
I mean, I am not going to give any advice about how not to be stressed before one of the biggest moments, but I just have to ask, first of all, Donovan, you did say that not only has your mom been an enormous part of your life and journey, but also she's the best quarantine cook. Roz, what are you cooking up in the house?
Everything, everything. And he's eating me out of house and home too. But I'm so glad to have him here. You you look at the silver lining of things, and this virus gave us this time together that we would have normally not had, because he lives in Ann Arbor, right? And but now he's been with me for the last 3 weeks, so I'm cooking and cleaning like he was a little boy again. So I have definitely enjoyed this time.
Well, I think Donovan, you too have enjoyed being your mama's boy through this time too, right? What's your favorite dish? If she won't say it, what has she made that you're like loving? What's the celebration dish that you want her to make when your name is called?
I like lasagna a lot. Make some really good turkey burgers too, that I really like.
Okay. So how has this process, pro days are being canceled. I mean, you did light it up at the combine, the best vertical among wide receivers, absolute fire performance from you. But all of the other stuff, the team meetings have obviously been changed with the cancellation of travel, basically. So how has that affected, your thoughts going into this process?
It's just been adjusted. Everything's been adjusted. Just been doing a lot of Zoom meeting calls, whatever they had scheduled, which is finding a way to still do it. Yeah, just a big adjustment.
And how are you? I mean, obviously you're not only a wide receiver, but a return specialist. You broke records at Michigan, a former track standout. How are you staying in shape? You're not able to go to your local gym. You're not, as your mom said, in Ann Arbor. So what are you doing to just keep all of that athleticism at its peak right now?
I'm just working out at fields, working out at the track. There's a couple fields still open outside, so really everything has been outside. And like I said, just adjusting, doing things doing what you can.
I'm watching you talk very calmly about adjusting, and one of the things about you that I've read and that scouts have noted is that you're very intelligent. You have this reserved manner. You're also wanting to be a doctor. So now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and sports is coming back. The NFL has some actual sports going on, as Jeremy mentioned. Are there is that aspirational desire to be within the healthcare profession itching it all right now? Or are you just solely focused on the weekend and the draft?
I'm really solely focused on this. I still have to finish school and have a couple credits that I have to do left. So I'll focus on what is now, and for what'll come later.
Mom, I just saw you smile big when I mentioned about being a doctor. First of all, what a job have you done? As I am also a mother to a little boy, and I even get emotional thinking about it now. Like, how do you feel? Donovan's cool as a cucumber. He's eating lasagna, working out at fields. He's fine, posting on Instagram. But Mom, what about you?
I'm just overwhelmed. I mean, I woke up this morning just so very thankful and overwhelmed with emotion. Like, I can get emotional because it's been a long journey. He's worked so hard for this. And you think about from the beginning when he was 5, he came home and said, "I want to play football." Full contact, not flag. And it's like, okay. So he's kind of been, he's led me through this process. He's always known what he wanted. He's been very focused. Always had a vision. I believe in the 3rd grade, he had to write something about himself, and he wrote, God's light shines on me when I play football, and it has. And to watch from that time up until now, from Little League to high school, then college, and then this moment is to watch your child live his dream is just overwhelming for me.
And you've been such a supportive, integral part of the journey. You've advocated for him everyone, I read that, you bought a trampoline for the backyard, not just to burn off that little boy energy that I know I'm familiar with, but also to help him in growing his athletic ability, to setting up the cones, to, when he was deciding between Ohio State and Michigan. What is the one word that you can describe, like, beyond pride, that you see in your son?
Focus and visionary. And he's always had it, from a little boy. He's known what he wanted. He's very, reserved, very calm. Unlike me, I'm all over the place and emotional. But he's always been very focused, very strategic. And that's just a part of his character. And I'm just enjoying watching it, mature into this man now, my man child.
Oh my gosh, Roz and Donovan, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck. We'll be watching to see what happens. And today was supposed to be Take Your Kids to Work Day across the country. So Roz, thanks for bringing DPJ in to work with you. I appreciate that today.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Best of luck. Liz, any closing thoughts as we wrap this one up about fantasy football? Not only fantasy football, but the overall NFL draft tonight?
I mean, it's a really deep, as Donovan just showed, very deep wide receiver class. Some new quarterbacks are going to be installed, as we're seeing Tom Brady move to Tampa Bay with Rob Gronkowski, and some of the older quarterbacks ending perhaps their time in their career. So it's an incredible time of transition for sports in general, and certainly for the NFL. So it's going to be exciting to see how that within the entire weekend, starting Thursday. And again, check out the Yahoo Sports Show, because the first round kicks off at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be interesting to see how this transition fuels the league and sports in general.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch tonight. Glad to know I can keep the phone tuned to Yahoo Sports all night to get all the updates on the Panthers and whatever they do with their picks tonight. So holding out hope, everybody. Let's go Panthers. Good. Liz, thanks so much for joining us, as Sam to Roz and Donovan. I appreciate that. Now, before we close up with Krista today, and then we look forward to the rest of the week, this week has been Volunteer Week, and some of our employees, they volunteer in so many different ways. A lot of amazing volunteers who are part of the V team, including some who do their day job at Verizon, only to go out as volunteers in the evening and on weekends. Have a look at this.
My name is Doug Waxler. I work in the Consumer Insights Group. In addition to working at Verizon, I also am the Assistant Chief of Fire and EMS at the Hochtown Volunteer Fire Department.
My name is Greg Rainey. I've been with Verizon for 30 years now. My wife and I both volunteer for the ambulance corps.
I is in service to Manhattan Terrace.
If someone calls 911 that needs an ambulance during our shift, we would go down to the building, get the ambulance, go down and do patient care. Since the virus has come, things have changed drastically in what we do and how we handle it. Right now, the main objective for us is, of course, personal protection.
Well, there's a little bit of worry, obviously, because I have a wife and child at home. So you have to take the extra precautions, and you have to even take your gear off properly to make sure that you don't expose yourself to something had you gotten it on your gear.
What the virus is doing, it's causing a lot more patients, a lot more people feeling ill and scared and worried. So now is a crucial time for us to be here to go in and help and let them feel like there's someone there for them.
There's a job to do, and I don't plan to change going out. No matter what happens, if there's somebody that needs help, we still have to go and just make sure and protect ourselves appropriately.
Just because a virus comes along, it doesn't change how we feel or what we're doing. Never really thought about stopping or giving it up or anything like that. They still need people out there to do this, and it's just something we feel that we enjoy doing, we want to.
Oh, well, special thanks to Doug and Greg and all of our volunteers who find so many different ways to give back to their communities now and around the year when we're not looking at the pandemic. So that is great to share, and glad everyone has participated so much in Volunteer Week around the world this week. So Krista, I want to get over to you for your final thoughts of the day.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. And it was a wonderful up to speed, everything from listening to the stories of motherhood and aspirations of a young career getting ready to start, or what we're doing with first responders or volunteering, and how we bring our families into this experience. There aren't always choices in front of us that leave us feeling better about ourselves at the end of an experience. This is one that we can make joyful. We can find change. We can work together, and we can make choices as a brand to make sure we continue to show up and be kind, be considerate, and most importantly, be reliable. That is who we've always been. It doesn't change now. We continue to go down that road as a group, as a team, and as a family. So on behalf of Verizon and all that everyone is doing to keep us going forward, I want to make sure that I say thank you. You are appreciated, you are heard, and we know that you make Verizon better because you're a part of it. Thank you.
Good words there, Krista. Thank you for that. And my reminder, don't forget to reach out to those you haven't talked to in a while and then tell them you're thinking about them or that you love them one way or another. Also want to tag a couple of things for folks. We'll be back with you again tomorrow at noon to 1 p.m. Eastern because of our 1Q results webcast. A lot of great questions have come in. Continue sending those to us at live@verizon.com. We'll be joined by Hans and Matt Ellis as they break down what they talk to Wall Street and investors and stockholders about tomorrow when we announce our 1Q earnings. A little bit of the taste of business as usual when we're doing that. So again, tomorrow at noon Eastern, that will be on there at 1. As we've done throughout the week, I want to end with a thank you message from one of the groups that we're supporting today. It's called Upchieve. They're connecting low-income youth with live academic support to help them on their plan toward achieving upward mobility. And this is one of the organizations that you can sign up to help at verizon.com/volunteer. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
We exist to increase access to academic support, ensuring all students have an equal shot at finishing high school and achieving upward mobility.
We're worried that during this period, students who have less stability and academic support in their homes will fall farther behind their peers. And without access to a resource like Upchieve, they may never catch up.
Our platform is powered by volunteer support, and Verizon volunteers have really stepped up in response to the COVID-19 crisis. We've had over 500 Verizon employees sign up to volunteer with us on the platform. Collectively, these volunteers have donated hundreds of hours of time to helping students with their homework, improving their understanding of important concepts, and making sure they don't fall behind. These students would have nowhere else to turn to for academic support without Upchieve.
Thank you so much for donating your time to support students during this challenging period. Your hard work means the world to me, to the entire Upchieve staff, and to all of the students that we serve. Thank you.